world doesn't see the reps, it sees the outcome. Nobody wants to know or talk about the reps, but doing the reps is one of the most important things. Actually showing up and putting in the work. And I am very certain of this, that most of us don't reach our goals because we start the work, we do the work, and we never hang around long enough to see the results. And that breaks my heart. So I've got 7 things that I want to go over today. The actual dream is much smaller than we always anticipate. It's smaller little steps that will get us towards that big goal. And the small steps, sometimes we don't like to do it because it doesn't seem as glorious and as big and as purposeful and everything else. But the small little in-between things, the small moves that you make each day make the biggest difference. You don't need a new offer. You need visibility. You need to be showing up. Ask yourself what's stopping you from doing that, and be honest with yourself, because you already know the answer. You got to go out there and do the reps. You're listening to Jai Long, and this is Make Your Break. Today, I want to talk about reaching your goals and blowing up on social media. Now, what if I told you that reaching your goals and getting prolific on social media has nothing to do with your talent, your skills, luck, or anything else? It's got to do with repetition, putting in the reps, just like going to the gym. You know, you want to build some muscle, we go to the gym and we push ourselves, stretch ourselves, we go to failure, and then from that space we rebuild by eating more protein, having some rest, and then we can grow ourselves. So social media and our goals are very much the same. It's the same process when you think about it. We are pushing ourselves and we're breaking ourselves and we're failing all the time. And then from that space, we nurture ourselves, give ourselves the things that we need so we can continue to grow in that right direction. You know, nobody wants to know or talk about the reps, but doing the reps is one of the most important things, you know? So actually showing up and putting in the work. And I can say, and I am very certain of this, that most of us don't reach our goals because we start the work, we do the work, and we never hang around long enough to see the results. And that breaks my heart. So I've got 7 things that I want to go over today. Number 1, your goals, maybe getting big on social media, maybe booking a whole lot more work, getting people to know about your services. It's so much smaller than you think. Now, I talk about unrealistic goals all the time. You got to think big. You have the vision. You're a visionary. You're a creative. You're a creator, you know, so we can create amazing, big, unrealistic goals in our mind. But the actual dream is much smaller than we always anticipate. It's smaller little steps that will get us towards that big goal. And the small steps, sometimes we don't like to do it because it doesn't seem as glorious and as big and as purposeful and everything else. But the small little in-between things, the small moves that you make each day make the biggest difference. And I want to give you another example, just going back to that gym analogy. I know for myself that no matter how much I pick up weights and how many times I go for a run and I try and recompose my body in whatever way, it doesn't do anything until I change the small meals that I have every day. In particular, if I stop snacking and having food that I shouldn't be having, it makes a huge difference for all the work that I do. So it's just the small habits, the small daily things that will actually get you there. And it's the small things that I don't know if it's taken for granted is the right word, but we just don't put enough weight on the small things that we do on the day-to-day. And I think it's really important. Now, I want to give you a quick little example. Let's just say, I wrote this down. Let's just say for the next 30 days, you posted on social media and you posted a reel. And every single day that you posted a reel, you got about 1,000 views. Now, after 30 days, it doesn't seem like much, and maybe it feels like you're failing, especially compared to all the other prolific people on social media, and they've got hundreds of thousands of views, and you just have 1,000 views. But after 30 days, you have 30,000 new views. Now, some of those people are going to repeat, but you have been able to share your message 30 times, and you've had an audience of 30,000 people, or at least. Maybe it's much smaller than that. Maybe it's only 10,000 people. I don't know. But at least your audience has heard it multiple times this month. Now, what would that do for you? If you had 30,000 views, I want you to think about it. Your target perfect audience. Maybe people will know about your services more. Maybe you will get some more followers and your ecosystem, your network will grow. Maybe just 5 people out of those 30,000 views find you and they send you an inquiry, and that's all you need for this month for you to make some more income. Maybe after the 30,000 views and 30 reels that you post, maybe you get more confident for the next 30 days. You get more comfortable sitting in front of the camera and speaking to nobody like I am right now. So maybe just one new opportunity comes through the door. Something that wouldn't have been there if you did nothing. Now, I want to ask you, are you not posting daily on something like Reels because you're worried that you're going to fail? Or that 1,000 views is not enough views? Or that you feel like nobody's watching, nobody's listening? Because this is the work that you do that gets you the results. And then once you get the results, that's the thing that people see. And it's the same for you. When you're going on social media or you're talking to your successful friends and you see someone and they're doing really well, you're only seeing those highlight reels after they have already done the work. So they are producing, taking those steps, those small baby steps every single day that just pushes them just a little bit, gets their message out there just a little bit more, allows them to get more confidence just even a little bit every single day, a little bit closer towards their goals. Now, you don't see any of that. You see the result of the goal. And then it's really easy for us to compare and compete with that person. Maybe we can even dismiss what they've done and say, well, it's up to, it was luck. Lucky people. But that small, tiny step towards your big, large, unrealistic goal is all it takes, man. I'm telling you. For me, I've thought about this my whole life, and I actually think it's one of the biggest drivers for my success. But I think about, like, every single day, what's one small little task that I can do that's for me that gets me closer to my goal? What is one small little task that I can do today that will get me closer to my goal? Could be writing one email out to somebody and just seeing if I can have an opportunity with them. Could be just cold DMing somebody. Could be creating a reel, a podcast episode. It could be, I don't know, making one more sale. It could be so many different things, but just one small thing. And at the end of the year, I look back and I go, oh my God, I actually thought I was doing nothing, but I accomplished a lot. Look at the size of those. I reached those massive unrealistic goals and I didn't even know how I was going to do it. And it all came down because the dream is actually smaller than you think. Often when I'm mentoring somebody, let's use a wedding photographer as an example. They come to me. I was actually talking to someone last week and they said, Jai, I'd love to work with you. I've got 15 clients and I'm nowhere near where I need to be. So I said, well, at the end of the year, what would success look like to you? Like, how many clients do you actually need? In which she replied, well, I need 30. Okay, so she's already halfway through towards her goal. You're already almost there. Not only that, you've already booked 15 people, which means you know how to do it. You're not starting from ground zero, from the very beginning. So it's so much more achievable than what she first thought, because sometimes we have it in our head, well, 30 clients, that means we need to, be prolific on social media. I've got to run some ads. I've got to get onto the blogs. I've got to do YouTube. I've got to start a podcast. And we give ourselves this mountain of a dream, but really it's much more simple than you think. And it just takes one small little thing. Now, on this, I actually want to challenge you before we move on, because the problem for you isn't reach, it's consistency. And on your social media account, if you could post once a day, let's say even for example, you posted once a day and you just got, 100 views. And at the end of the month, you had 3,000 views. I mean, we are so used to seeing hundreds of thousands of millions of views on other people's platforms. But honestly, if you only need to book 15 clients, isn't that enough? And then you rinse and repeat that every single month. I'm just trying to attract the right people that love what I do. I'm not trying to attract everybody. And that is much more simple than I first imagined. The dream is smaller than you think. Number 2, what is it that we really want? This one's important. I wrote a couple of things down here. I wish people knew more about my work. I wish people understood what I do. I wish more people were excited about my art. You know, you don't need a new offer. You need visibility. You need to be showing up. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from doing that? So if you need more people to know about your work, you need people to understand what it is that you do, and you want people to be excited about your art. What is actually stopping you right now? And be honest with yourself. Because you already know the answer. You got to go out there and do the reps. That's all it is. Showing up over and over. Over and over and over. So what do you actually want? Have a look at that. Could be more money, more praise, more accolades. And then what's actually stopping you from that goal right now? Now, number 3, of course, this is the real enemy. The real enemy, which is imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to teach this or be on a podcast or be on YouTube? Who am I? Fear of embarrassment. Like, what if I only get 100 views? Like, that'd be so embarrassing. What if I only got 1,000 views? You know, and someone sees that. Fear of judgment. It could be from an ex. It could be a judgment from an old friend or from a peer, a co-worker. You know, it could be from your parents, from your partner. All these things play a massive role, and it's going to be so important for us that we go back into what am I willing to sacrifice right now to get the success that I want. And for me, I'm willing to sacrifice the feeling of being embarrassed or having that imposter syndrome, feeling like I'm not worthy. Of course, man. I'm willing to sacrifice my reputation of only getting 1,000 views because my goals are worth more than the discomfort of having 1,000 views. For me, when I look at it, I got 1,000 views. If I posted every single day, I'm like, oh man, I'm playing a different game to you. You got no views today because you didn't post. I got 1,000 views. 1,000 people know about my art. They're excited about what I'm creating. That's pretty cool, man. Number 4 is your frequency. Now, believe it or not, as much as you wish that you could mask how you actually feel, it's pretty damn hard. So when you show up on social media, in your business, in email, in comments, wherever you're showing up, it's pretty hard to mask how you're actually feeling. And what I mean by that is sometimes we feel burnt out, or we feel embarrassed, we feel imposter syndrome, we feel unworthy, we are discounting our value, we don't have conviction in our services. Like when we feel these things and then we show up and you're posting once a day, everyone can see it. It's important not to be creating from that space. And I say this often in my coaching, you've got to come back to you and what makes you special. And a lot of times it's your superpower. Your superpower is how you show up. It's your enthusiasm. It's your energy. It's the frequency you're putting out into the world. That's what why they're attracted to you. And if you've lost that because you're feeling burnt out, feeling embarrassed, imposter syndrome, then you need to take a break. And you got to reset yourself. You got to work out, what is it that I need right now? Maybe I need to go for a long walk, or I need to go for a camping trip. I need to go traveling. Maybe I need to spend more time with my family. Maybe I got to get rid of that side of my business that doesn't really work. I got to pivot and change my style. I just need some space. And trust me, man, like in the last probably 2 years, I feel like I've had so much burnout. And when you're in that space, it's almost impossible to show up. And what happens when you do show up is people see it and they feel it, and then they start disappearing because you no longer are that magnet that people are first drawn to with that energy that you have, that day one energy. So I want you to go back and think, how can I bring back that day one energy where I wasn't jaded, I wasn't skeptical, I didn't have this negative energy. I wasn't scared of being on social media. I just showed up and I asked the universe for what I wanted, and I just pursued it with relentless action. How do you get back to that? How do you get so obsessed with what you're doing that it just lights everyone up around you? They want to talk to you about what it is that you're doing, what you're trying to achieve. They want to talk to you about your goals. They want to help you with your goals. They want to trust you. They want to buy from you. They want to book you. How do we get back to that? Because when you get back to that, those 1,000 views will turn into 10,000 views per day. Because people are attracted to magnetic energy like that. When they see you lighting up and living your dream, you're going to attract the right people. And that's all it takes. But it comes down to your frequency. So what is your frequency right now? What is your philosophy? What's your headspace? How do you feel? How can we reset it so we feel energized? And this comes down to, like, when you're creating content or putting anything out there, you've got to be creating that's based on your superpower. So for instance, if you're really good at writing and you love writing, then get off Instagram and Reels and go and make some new articles in Substack. Write every single day for the next 30 days. Maybe you only get 100 people reading it. Who cares, man? Maybe you're really good at video and you want to do long form. You don't like the short form, quick, snappy stuff. And then so you just want to sit in front of a camera like I am right now recording this. I'm just talking and I'm just sharing. I don't need to script things. I don't need to make it too polished. It's just me showing up to speak to you. And that's all it needs to be. Maybe you don't like to be in front of the camera. Maybe you want a podcast. Show up. Just show up. Show up, but you need to do it on the platform and in such a way that you feel like you're the best version of yourself. You feel comfortable and at ease. You're not burnt out. You're not feeling imposter syndrome. You've worked through those things and you're feeling amazing. I've got a little bit of sun coming into my eyes right here, and I am recording this by myself as well. Camera over here, camera over here. And so I'm just trying to make it work. Okay, the lie about success. Man, let me tell you about the lies about success. I have had so many people walk up to me and tell me that I'm so successful for whatever reason. They've got ideas of why I'm successful. Let me tell you about those lies. When I started shooting weddings, after a few years, I got to around about, and I remember this, my 300th wedding. 300. And a whole bunch of them I shot for free. A lot of them are done for massive discounts. But around about the 300 mark is when my career actually started changing and my business started taking off. 300. There's so many people give up after 10. Like, oh man, they're just, I'm not successful. I'm feeling like I'm failing. Hey, I felt like I was failing after 300 before I started really understanding, for me as a wedding photographer, understanding my craft, how my camera works, how people worked in front of my camera, how to interact with people, people's body language, the tiny little moments that I needed to know in between things when no one else was looking or noticing. 300. Okay. If I gave up at 299, I would have never got to where I was in my career. If you're thinking about giving up and you've been doing 100, come on, man, you're not even in the realm of greatness yet. You haven't even begun. It's just getting started. You don't even know how to use your camera yet. 300. Doing my podcast. I've recorded around about 350 hours of my own podcast now, and I've probably done another 100 hours of interviews on other people's podcasts in the last few years. It wasn't until I got to episode 300 on my podcast where I was like, okay, we can get some traction here. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm speaking a little bit better. I'm more animated. Maybe I can get on camera. I just started recording these just a couple of, 3 episodes ago, 4 episodes ago on camera. I had to get up to 320 episodes before I was confident enough to put this on YouTube. Think about that. 320, man. Most people won't even do 50 podcast episodes. I'm pretty sure it's like it's like 2% of all podcasts in the world have more than 10 episodes. Think about that. How quickly do we give up? And the issue is, if I didn't get to 300, I would have recorded. Let's say I gave up after 250. I give up after shooting 250 weddings. I would have never got to where I needed to be. I wouldn't have enjoyed the success from the reps that I put in. with my podcast. If I didn't get to 300, I would not have enjoyed the success of the reps that I put in, because I would have done 250, but I would have never got to that breakthrough moment. It's the same thing as when we go to the gym. I can go to the gym and I can lift some heavy weights. Maybe I do it for 4 weeks. Maybe I do it for 30 weeks. And then I give up because I don't see results, and I give up before I get to see the results, before I see the success, before I reach the goal. What happens? It means all that work that I did was for nothing. I never even got close to where I wanted to go. I was so caught up and hung up on imposter syndrome and all these other things that I lost sight that the goal is much smaller than you think. It's just one step after another step after another step for a very long fucking time. I want to share another story with you. The workshop story. I had a friend of mine, or a mentee, that booked me because they seen that I was super successful with all my workshops. This is years ago, before I had online courses. If you don't know my story of workshops, I started my first workshop in 2015. It was amazing. It cost me roughly, after I sold all my tickets and everything, it cost me out of pocket about $5,000, which doesn't sound like a lot in this day and age, but it was all my money back then. It was on all metrics a failure, but for me, it was the starting blocks of everything. You know, it's like, why not show up and do that? So after that first failure, I did it again, and when I got to about 50th workshop, it started getting more successful and more successful. They started selling out more and more. It was great. And then I turned it into an online course in 2020. By 2021, 2022, 7 years after I started my workshops and doing them, we started, I remember 1 week we made over $800,000. It took 7 years for that overnight success. 7 years. So I was mentoring this guy, and he was like, man, I want to have a prolific workshop. I want to be an industry leader. It's going to be big, it's going to be beautiful. And he gave me the vision and everything. I said, yeah, great, let's put it all together. So I mapped out a plan for him, marketing plan, sales plan, what's the website going to look like, where are you going to advertise, so on, how's it going to run, the structure of it, what are the upsells, so on. And so we went backwards and forwards and all this kind of stuff, and then it came down to him to do the work. So he did the work, and then I seen him a few months later, and I wanted to have a quick debrief. You know, he wasn't paying for a mentoring session or anything. He just wanted to have a quick debrief. And I said, like, hey man, has the workshop happened? He said, yeah. I was like, how was it? He said, well, I cancelled it just before it happened. I said, why? We said, because I cancelled it because I advertised it online. I showed up and I put it out there, and after a few days, it didn't sell out, and I didn't want to lose money. So I closed it down and I failed. I failed at the workshop. And as you could know, like, to my surprise, I'm like, what do you mean you failed at the workshop? What failed? He said, well, I just didn't sell it out. And I said, well, I follow you on social media. I never seen it. I didn't even see it. Like, who did you advertise it to? He said, well, I put it on my mailing list, and then I posted about it twice on Instagram. Like, twice on Instagram. And that's it. And then you refunded the people. How many people paid for a ticket? And he's like, oh, about 5. Well, how many did you want? 10. 5 people showed up, put in their credit card details to pay for your workshop, to have a life transformation, and then you backed out on them. Like, think about that, man. All that work that you just put in, all the things that you've done, you failed. You failed because you gave up, not because nobody bought tickets. You didn't see the reps through. Now, if I go to the gym and I just stop halfway through, nothing's going to happen. If I go to the gym twice, 3 times, 4 times, nothing is really going to happen. It's not until I go there 10 times, 20 times, I'm going to start seeing some results. I can't expect anything just to be given to me on a silver platter like that. It just doesn't work like that. Everyone that I know that is successful, and even if they did just launch a workshop and it just sold out, it's because of all the work they did on the lead up to that success. The personal brand that they built, all the times that were on podcasts, all the speaking engagements, all the things they've done for free, all the work that they've created before. There was something that happened that got them to where they are now. If we just give up like that, what are we doing? Are we playing the game? If you're playing the game not to lose, is that a game? Which brings me on to part number 7. Winning isn't the goal. You can't play a game if you're not willing to lose the game. Because winning is not the best thing of the game. Getting into the mix and actually playing it is the game. Every time I get on the podcast, I get in front of a camera, I am conditioning myself right now to become a better person, a better presenter, a better podcaster. Every time that I show up and I do another reel and I only get 1,000 views, 100 views, I'm becoming a better presenter, a better personal brand. I'm reaching just one more person, maybe just one more person, doesn't matter. But I'm conditioning myself and giving myself the best chance possible to succeed. Now, if I don't do that, I already know what happens. Nothing. I'm training right now for my success in the future. There is no failure until I give up because I'm still playing the game. I'm not in the grandstands. I'm down there on the field and I'm trying to kick goals. And if I can't kick goals, it doesn't matter, man. I'm improving myself. I'm learning one more thing. That didn't work. That did work. I lost money there. I made money there. I'll do it again and I'll do it again and I'll do it again and I'll do it again. I show up because I'm the results of all the work that I've done in the past. That's who I am today. I know for me, tomorrow, to be a better version of myself, I need to show up today and not be thinking about winning. I need to be conditioning. I'm training. I'm improving. I'm going to reach that person, that version of me. And then I can thank myself later. So yeah, do I show up and try and sell at a workshop and it fails? Yeah, absolutely. Do I continue to do it anyway? Yeah, I do. I lose money all the time. I do that with every single thing, every business. I keep showing up, and the only reason why I get success is because, and unfortunately for my haters, I get back up and I do it again. I'm not scared of losing. I have got nothing to lose and everything to gain. The downside is tiny. The upside is infinite. And if I don't get in the game, there's no upside for me. I'm holding myself back. The world doesn't see the reps. It sees the outcome. The world doesn't see the 300 weddings that I shot before the first one got recognized, the 300 podcast episodes before I show up and I do a better episode. The world doesn't see you showing up and posting on Instagram. I actually had someone the other day and they said, there's a guy that's really successful on Instagram because he's been posting like consistently for like 5 years. I'm like, man, dude, I've been posting consistently for like 13 years, probably longer. Like, I know what it's like. No one sees it. I post all the time. No one sees it. Do I care? Oh, no way. I don't care, man. I am getting myself closer towards where I want to be. I have big visions and all I need is tiny steps to get myself there. The dream's always smaller than I think. I'm ambitious and I bite off more than I can chew. But I'm able to chew slowly and small, and I have a lot of time on my hands to get the job done. So you've been listening to Jai Long. This is Make Your Break. Hey, if you'd like to share this episode with anyone that needs to hear this right now, please go ahead and do that. You can do that on Instagram at jailong.co. You can tag me. You can send me a DM if this helped you in some way. If you're not watching on YouTube yet, please go over and watch it. There's a video here. But if you are watching on YouTube, you can go and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Anyway, see you next week.